Hello everybody, welcome back to the tortured Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today we are heading back to the Tortured Poets department. We have been a little lover fest for a few months now, but we are heading back specifically to Florida. No, not the US state, the Taylor Swift song. Now, fun fact, Florida is my favourite song on the Tortured Poets department. I've been seeing get a lot of slack on the internet lately.
I'm gonna put Florida in the third tier, but whenever it comes on, it's very fun. I think it's kind of funny when she says, F me up, Florida, and I'm not sure, I think it's fun, but I feel like it might cheapen the lyrics a little bit.
Florida, well, no, the writing is not good. That's really what lets it down. Their voices together sound fine.
It's gonna give me a flop. I know that it is. Florida!
Florida featuring Florence and the Machine. Not towards the top. It's more so in the middle or the bottom. I love this song, don't get me wrong, but it's not one, again, that I'm like, oh my god, Florida, you know? But I do love it. I'm going to put her with Fresh Out the Slammer at a partial slay.
My least favorite song on the Tortured Poets department in Florida. I think I would like it more if it was just Taylor.
My least favorite is Florida. I skip it every time.
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to be shocking to you guys that Florida is not one of our favorites.
Yeah.
I just feel like that just makes sense for the both of us.
Yeah.
But we do both love the "It's one hell of that backing vocal is so good.
Oh, and the whole bridge is definitely the best part. Once they start kind of doing that.
I have some regrets, so take me to Florida.
I am so conflicted. So conflicted about this goddamn song. I love Taylor on this track so goddamn much, to the point where I wish she was the only artist on this song. It has so much potential to be something, girl.
I don't know how I'm feeling. I will say this is the first one I'm like, I don't know. It feels simple compared to the rest of the writing and topics so far on this album. Compared to the rest of the album, to me, it's a little weaker, but song for song, good song.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Worst song on Tortured Poets is a very easy choice for me. Not only are the lyrics just stupid, but the production is ugly. And also, what an awful feature. I'm talking about Florida. Florida.
Now, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, of course, and if you just don't like Florida, it's not your style, totally get it. However, a lot of people have been saying that the writing is bad, that the feature shouldn't have been on it, and the production is bad. And I personally think that there was a reason for the production, writing, and the feature. There's made multiple reasons for all of them, and I'm here to disprove those and give my guesses of what Florida is about, my analysis of things like the feature, production, and the writing, but also my opinion. Before we continue with the video, I do need to mention a few things. I'm going to call this section housekeeping. So first, there is going to be a trigger warning. There are mentions of drugs, drug use, heartbreak, alcohol, drinking, depression, grief, cheating, and crime. A few things are separate, is separate from crime because it's more specifically mentioned in the video, so I kept it separate. Another thing is this video will contain a lot of swearing, and that's because Florida is an explicit song, and there are some lyrics that I analysed that I will be quoting and mentioning, and the swear words are necessary for the analysis. Also, because I am going to be swearing in with the lyric, I am going to allow myself to swear just a tiny bit outside of the lyric quoting. I'll try not to, but I now am allowing myself to do that. Because of the swearing and the massive trigger warning, this video is not suitable for those who are under 13. I am going to be bleeping out a lot of stuff, so the things I'll be bleeping out are all swear words, drug, but in some cases I will keep it in because it's necessary for the analysis. But 2 words will definitely be bleeped out after this. This is the only time I'll say them: suicide and weed. I know I need to bleep them out because I don't want this video to not get monetized in the future when I am eventually monetized, and also I don't want it to get age restricted because I'm not 18, so it would make no sense for it to be age restricted. Now, the reason I'm mentioning all of this, the swearing, trigger warning, and bleeped out and things. I don't want people to feel a certain way leaving this video before coming to this video. If you think any of the topics mentioned in the trigger warning will trigger some past memories or bad memories for you, I will implore you to please leave this video and go check some of my other videos. I have CDs you can check out. I've got a full Loverfest series you can check out. Just please go look at all of them and maybe don't come to this video. If you think you'll be fine, but later on in the video you decide I'm not fine, again, you can leave. It's totally fine. You can check out some of my videos or just go to someone else. It's totally fine. I just needed to mention that because I don't want this video to cause someone to be triggered. Now, with the housekeeping done, I'm going to talk to you about the part of this video. So I'm first going to have a pre-summary. So this is basically a complete summary of all the analysis I've done and everything that I've like going to mention after that. Then there'll be I'll talk about my annotations of the lyrics and analysis. Then we're going to talk about the analysis of the production and more analysis of the lyrics and the characters. Then we're going to do about the connections to real life and the circumstances with proof and screenshots. Then I'll talk to you about some more info that I thought was a bit interesting I would mention. And then at, just before we end this video, I'll talk about my opinion on the song and what I think I love it. So let's get on with the pre-summary of this video. The pre-summary is like these a quick little summary of like all the analysis and annotations. So Florida is an aftermath of a breakup and how the narrator is using Florida as a drug to take their mind off of it. That's kind of like the surface level, very surface level, and a quick summary. But now we're going to move on to the annotations of the lyrics. Now, I haven't annotated every single lyric. That would be impossible. And with something I could not think of anything at all. There were some things I wish I could have annotated, but again, I couldn't think of anything. So if there are any lyrics that I did not annotate and that you have a very good theory on or a very good annotation on, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to read them. But first I'm going to start with, they said I was a tree, I guess it must be true. Basically she's saying that she's tired of all they have to say about her, with the I guess being like, I guess, like she might sound tired. And my friends all smell like or little babies. All of her friends are using a type of to take their minds off of a situation. We obviously don't know what that situation is, if it's a heartbreak, if it's grief, we don't know what it is, but they're all using a type of whether that be family or literal drugs or work or anything like that. Then for the chorus, Florida is one hell of a drug and Florida, can I use you up? Is basically what she's saying basically. And she's saying Florida is a and she wants to use it up to take her mind off something. Obviously we know she's not actually using Florida, and later in this video I'll talk about what Florida could stand in for. I got drunk and I dared it to wash me away. Basically the narrator is saying that they use a drug and wanting it to work to take their mind away. Barricaded in the bathroom with a bottle of wine. Wanted to be alone to get drunk, or known but a drug could help her because she thinks no one can help her, so she wants to be alone. All my girls got their lace and their crimes. So this basically means everyone who goes to Florida gets the they're looking for, which sells it to the first narrator. And again, this is about the characters. The narrator original is the one is Taylor, who does the first verse and chorus, and then the second character or second person, that is Florence, and she's the one trying to sell it to Taylor. And your cheating husband disappeared. Well, no one asked any questions here. Now, obviously, this could be about but I have a much more, let's say, better theory. But this could be about how the cheating husband disappeared from their mind after taking the drug as they are high. Because everyone came to Florida to get this high feeling. No one asked questions because the same is happening with them. I think that's more smart. Please let me know. So I did my best to lay to rest all of the bodies that have ever been on my body. She's tried to forget without a she said, I've tried my best. And all the bodies that could just mean like memories or things that happen. And in my mind, they sink into a swamp. Is that a bad thing to say in a song? This is basically she's hallucinating, and that's because she took a and she said it's a bad thing to say in a song because it's bad to admit she's taken a it's illegal. Little did you know, your home's really only the town you'll get arrested. This is more connected to the real life events, which again we'll get to. And she felt like she was arrested in her home in the previous relationship, and so needed Florida to help get over those memories as well as the breakup. And then we move on to the bridge, which is my favourite part of the song. I love it so much, and I love the back and forth. We'll get onto that later. I need to stop getting distracted. I need to forget, so take me to Florida. I've got some regrets, I'll bury them in Florida. She wants to forget about her situation. She needs Florida, and people with regrets would also turn to Florida. So she needs Florida as if it's a So again, she turns to a to use, forget everything, to get rid of her regrets, all that kind of stuff. Tell me I'm despicable, say it's unforgivable. She doesn't care if people call her despicable for taking because she needs it at this point in her life. She's very low and she needs it. At least the dolls are beautiful. This is like she's saying it doesn't matter if she gets hate because everyone who took the drug is having a great time. Like they're getting what they want. They're getting over their past memories and breakups and grief and everything like that. Me up Florida, she's basically saying how she wants Florida to her up and she doesn't care about the consequences. And this comes later in the song when the first narrator, the main narrator, is now more carefree and cares and it's not very edgy. Again, we'll get to that. What a crash, what a rush. The rush she's getting from Florida is very big and she's like extremely high. She's having a lot of side effects. Love left me like this and I don't want to exist, so take me to Florida. Now, I've got a bit of a longer explanation of this one. So, when people go through extreme depression, grief, or heartbreak, they might turn to a drug, as we've mentioned multiple times. It might be a metaphorical one, like food or work, or it might be literal, like alcohol. These drugs help soothe them. However, in some cases, very extreme cases, people will turn to because they are in such a low point in their lives and they don't think anything can help them and they just want to escape surf. Again, that is a very sad topic. In her case, it's love that f***ed her up, and her saying, I don't want to exist, it could mean she briefly considered probably not, but it's a possibility. Or yeah, I don't want to exist could be like, I don't want to exist, so give me the drug so it makes me feel like I don't exist. All these problems don't exist in my life. It's one hell of a drug. She's singing this high, show how high she is and how it really her up. Now this part of the video was basically me disproving all the writing is bad because I managed to make sense of the writing. People say the writing is nonsensical, people say the writing is terrible, but it's not. It has lots of meaning to it. So this next part of the video is basically me trying to like make sense of all the annotations and the lyrics. The first person or protagonist, who we know is Taylor, who sings the first verse and chorus, she sounds slightly curious, uneasy about Florida, but come the bridge, she sounds much more she sings to a happier and crazier, and she sings louder and she's more carefree and confidently because she's now using and she trusts the person who's trying to sell it to her. At the start she was like uneasy about it, like should I use Florida, should I not, but the second person convinced her. The second person, however, Florence, who sings the second verse onwards and does backing vocals, she's confident and carefree throughout the entire song as she's trying to convince the protagonist, and her trying to convince the protagonist comes through a lot in some of these lyrics. All of my girls got lace in their crimes, at least the dolls are beautiful, barricaded in the bathroom with a bottle of wine, and that's how she's trying to sell it to her, how she's done this, that and the third, and nothing helps apart from Florida. Everyone's come to Florida, it helps them, it helped her. And they're getting it because they're beautiful. Later in the bridge, she says, I've got some regrets, I'll bury them in Florida. And my theory is the second person just like jumping ahead of the first person. Like, I think the protagonist was going to say the same thing, but she jumps ahead and guesses what she says, what sells it to the protagonist. Because after the bridge, she's carefree, she's high and whatever. The reason I put it like that, because it wouldn't make sense for the second person to sing that as she's already had her problems solved by Florida. So she's just trying to sell it to her. And now we're going to move on to the analysis of the production. I think the production is the most discredited part. I do think Jack Antonoff should get some major pats on the back first because the production makes sense. Production swells up and is super loud, dramatic, and strong for the very short chorus. This symbolizes the build-up of taking as like you're like thinking, should I do it? Should I not? It's bad, it's good, it'll help me, it won't help me. I'll have problems after this, I'll get in trouble, I'll go to jail. All these little thoughts, like it's building up and it's like more stressful, more nervous, more excitement, and that builds up, and then after you take the that's like when all the energy is released and you have this like crashing feeling of being high, and obviously you're only high for a very, very short time, which is why there's a very short chorus. It's like two lyrics, and it's a banging sound to show how she's really on edge and she's taking a drug and she's really high. Now, if we were to analyze the first verse and the second verse productions, the protagonist and second person, the protagonist production is much more staggery and edgy and uneasy. Even in the bridge, Taylor's is more like, it's got like these like staggering sounds, I don't know what they are, but then Florence's bits in the bridge and her verse, she's more like carefree and like it's like flowy and wavy, and it matches her carefree mood, and protagonist is more staggering and uneasy to match her uneasy mood at the beginning. But then by the end of the song, They're both singing together to show how their productions have come together and they match each other so well because they're now feeling the same. And that's the end of our analysis. And now we're going to move on to the connections to the real life and what Florida could mean. I have a couple of connections of what Florida could be. Now, Florida could be a cover-up for Matty Healy. As we all know, after Taylor and Joe broke up in April, only a few weeks later she got with Matty, and they were only together for a short time. It could mean how she was actually just using Matty as a way to take her mind off of her last breakup that kind of scarred her and made her really upset. That's basically saying Matty is the drug we're talking about. Obviously, after having a drug, you'll have a crash that's like worse than the pain that was the reason for taking the drug. Like you'll have major side effects, you'll feel terrible, you'll have addiction, which is obviously worse. So it makes sense calling Matty a drug because after she broke up with him, she felt even worse. See The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, or My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, or LOML, or Down Bad. And she clearly felt absolutely terrible after Matty left her. In contrast with Joe, and I personally think that she left Joe because she realized she couldn't do it anymore. Like So Long London, how much sad did you think I could have before I would self-implode, you know? So I think it's her who left him. So a lot of the songs in Talk to Post Farm, it's about how he left her. That makes me think it's more about Matty Healy. Also, Matty ghosting her is kind of like taking away a drug from someone who's suddenly addicted. They're in lots of pain and want it back. So basically, when Matty suddenly left and ghosted her, she was in lots of pain and she wanted him back. But that was before she realised he was the smallest man who ever lived. Florida could also be a cover-up for the Eras tour and how she dived into work and said, "Take me to Florida," and how she was just take me to the next city, take me on the Eras tour, just let me do my shows, so I don't have to think about this stupid love and stupid breakup. This could be the case considering the voice memo for Florida, which I only heard after I filmed this video. And this theory has a little bit of strength because Florida was the next stop after the breakup allegedly happened. So basically Taylor had done Glendale and Las Vegas, and then there was Arlington, and then there was a week break, and in that week break it was announced that she and Joe had broken up, and after that break she performed in Florida, and after that she went back to Texas to go to Houston. And even though obviously that was probably an accident and it just kind of happened, I think she wrote that into the song, "Pack your bags to wait out the storm back in Texas." So she was in Arlington where the storm happened, the breakup, and then she went to Tampa in Florida, and then she went back to Texas in Houston. So I find it really interesting because obviously that was a complete accident, and I really like the fact how she probably wrote that into the song. So that's a bit more analysis of the lyrics again, as if we didn't improve it even anymore. Now, when doing research for this video, I came across a bit of interesting information. First of all, apparently, Florida is one of the states in the US with the toughest drug laws. So I find it really interesting how Taylor is using Florida as a metaphor for it's got some of the most strict drug laws. Another bit of interesting info was Taylor and Florence's ages. I do like to think how the second person is older than the protagonist. She seems more mature, sort of, as she's like been in the situation, she took the drug and she's feeling happy and she's like gone past that part in her life. However, the protagonist clearly hasn't, and they're clearly in that stage in their life. And so Taylor is 34 and Florence is 37. So I find it really interesting how she made Florence second person. Obviously, I feel like that would have made sense anyway. But yeah, again, with their ages, it makes a bit more sense. Now, to end off this video, I'm going to talk about my opinion on Florida. Now, you can have your own opinion on Florida, but I do need to say that the writing is objectively decent, and so is the production. I do think it makes sense that Florence was on the song, as it makes sense to have two characters. It's just my opinion, without all the analysis, without all the annotations and the connections and all the stuff I've just mentioned. I love the production and the banging sound. I was so shocked when I heard it. I really wish I recorded it and put it in my TTPD release week vlog. If you want to go check it out, we link below. I really wish I got my reaction to that. It was crazy. And I didn't mention this, but there's actually 7 bangs in the chorus, and they spell out Florida. Florida. And I personally want to say people who say the writing is and I personally love that Florence is on the song. I love her voice and her flowy and slightly drier vocals. I mean that as a compliment. And like how it's more like carefree in contrast to Taylor's more stagnant and clearer vocals, especially when their production matches the voices, and the bridge was so good. I love the bridge, it's my favourite part of the song, and so is the outro. With all of my analysis, I do think having two people in the song makes sense and was a good choice. So that's my opinion on Florida. To end this video, I'd like to say that I do respect people's opinions. However, I do think there was lots of meaning in the lyrics and production and the feature, so you can't really say much. But anyway, guys, that is what I think of Florida. Let me know what you guys think of Florida in the comments, whether you love it, you hate it, what your opinion on the lyrics and production is. I'd love to know. I hope you guys take this into consideration next time you listen to Florida, if ever. And of course, I respect everyone's opinions. I will always do that, considering I have some very strong opinions on other songs. If you guys like this video, please give it a like. I spent so much time on this video. I spent like an hour filming, and it's taken me absolutely ages to get all my analysis done. I've got, look at this note. Like, it's so massive. So again, please leave a like on this video. It would mean a lot to me. Maybe share it as well to a Florida hater. And also, it would mean the world to me if you were to subscribe. I really want to hit 100 subscribers, possibly by the end of the year. Who knows? But anyway, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.